All right, that's our top story here. United Arab Emirates. President Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan has currently arrived in New Delhi, and these are the visuals that we're bringing for you, where Prime Minister Modi himself arrived at the airport to receive him, calling him my brother. That was the welcome, a very hearty welcome that Prime Minister Modi has given to Al Nahyan on his visit, which was on Prime Minister Modi's invitation. The visuals that are coming in there of all the preparations that were made to welcome Zayed Al Nahyan. In fact, this comes amid rising tensions as well in West Asia. Remember, you have tensions currently panning out in parts of West Asia, with Iran erupting in protests. At a time like this, the UAE President in India for bilateral talks with Prime Minister Modi is hugely significant. Al Nahyan was received by the Prime Minister. He, in fact, said that his visit illustrates the importance he attaches to strong friendship between India and the UAE. This is, of course, Sheikh Mohammed's third visit to India as UAE President and his fifth visit in the last decade, reflecting the depth of ties between the two nations, the growing relationship. Irrespective of what's happened across the globe, UAE and India have remained thick friends, business partners, and a lot more. In fact, the bonhomie well established with Al Nahyan and Prime Minister Modi embracing each other as soon as he landed in the Delhi airport, with Prime Minister Modi himself receiving Al Nahyan. And 2 hours of a meet is what's expected. The visit comes after a series of high-level exchanges that happened previously, including visits by the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi in 2024 and the Crown Prince of Dubai in 2025. These talks are expected to chart out new directions for the India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and include discussions on regional and global issues of shared interest. Now, India and the UAE share strong political, cultural, economic relations and are among each other's top trading and investment partners. The partnership is backed by the CEPA trade agreement, local currency settlement system, and a robust energy relationship. Al Nahyan's visit to India also comes amid the volatile situation in the Middle East, as I did highlight. Tensions have escalated following massive protests in Iran that has claimed nearly 5,000 lives. Interestingly, you have no word that's come in from any of the Arab or Gulf countries at this point. But here, Al Nahyan is in India and he means business. Let me bring in Ambassador Veena Sikri, who's a former Indian diplomat, joining us live for a little more in detail to give us a little cover as to what Al Nahyan is here in India for. Ms. Veena Sikri, we know he's here on Prime Minister Modi's invite. There are 2 hours of bilateral talks that will pan out in a short while from now. But just to begin with, the kind of bonhomie that Al Nahyan and Prime Minister Modi have shared earlier as well, we've seen this time, as soon as he landed, Prime Minister Modi embracing him, the hug, the warm hug, Prime Minister Modi calling him my brother, them greeting each other as brothers. Irrespective of what happens in West Asia, UAE and India's relationship has remained strong, and this is another telltale.
Yes, I think we certainly can attach great significance to this visit. It's a very short visit. It's a very short visit. May just last a few hours, and he's probably leaving tonight itself.
Yeah.
So I think this indicates the depth of the trust and understanding, because he's wanted to come here to discuss something with our Prime Minister. And I'm sure all regional developments will be covered, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's the Gulf or South Asia. I think they will be exchanging views on that. I think the depth of the understanding and appreciation that UAE has for our Prime Minister, the regard and respect they have from him, is shown by the way in which they have given our Prime Minister the highest civilian honor. And it's really a remarkable development over the last 10 years, how this relationship has developed. As you've said yourself, this is the 5th time he's coming, 3 times as president and 2 times earlier when he was crown prince. So clearly between the leadership of our two countries, there's a great regard and respect. And I think that right now, if you look at regional developments, maybe it is something to do with the situation in the Middle East over Yemen, because we know that between UAE and Saudi Arabia, there have been a sudden flare-up of tensions over the presence of UAE forces in the southern part of Yemen. And now the UAE forces have left that region, but still the tensions prevail, and what is exactly going to happen in the near future is not clear. Saudi Arabia has asserted itself in that region, but we don't know how it's going to pan out. So I'm sure that this will be the aspect to be discussed. The direct respect and regard at the bilateral leadership level between our two countries is reflected very much at other levels of the relationship between UAE and India. We have 3.5 million Indians working in the UAE, and we also have the greatest trade and investment exchanges between India and the UAE. The trade figures are so huge, and we also have to bolster this trade relationship. We have decided to exchange, we have local currency evaluation of this trade, so we don't have to go to the dollar or any such. And since the volume of trade is so large, billions and billions, $100 billion between India and the UAE, it shows how this mutually beneficial trade relationship is helping both our countries. UAE is purchasing a very large number of agricultural products and other jewelry and other items from India. India is purchasing a very large amount of crude oil and other items from UAE. So this really shows how we are developing.
Ms. Veena Sikri, I will draw attention of our viewers to the visuals that are coming in. These are live visuals that show Prime Minister Modi and UAE President Al Nahyan both sitting on a swing. Quite the equation that they share. We're going to cut to that visual. We've just we're right now streaming live, so the visuals are slightly patchy, but as you see there, they've come by together, driven in a car with the convoy and landed up at Prime Minister Modi's home, it appears. And bilateral meet will happen in barely a few moments from now, and it will run into 2 hours. Ms. Veena Sikri, this visit is significant considering the tensions in West Asia, and it appears that will be a significant part of what they discuss. Apart from business, that will be significant. Also, the Gaza peace plan. We know Donald Trump has invited both India and UAE to commit to the peace plan that he's drawn out. Do you believe that will also feature in the discussion today?
Oh, I'm sure that will very much be there because this is a very, very recent development, but the implications of it are not clear to everybody. So everybody's evaluating what it means, and the question of how you will participate, what will the Gaza Peace Board be entitled to do, etc., etc. And there's also the question of the position of Israel on participation of certain countries like Turkey and others in that. So it is a very complicated situation right now in the Middle East, both as regards Yemen and of course the second phase of the Gaza peace plan as well. But it's a significant indication of the trust that India and UAE have developed among each other, that even for these few hours, the president of the UAE felt it necessary for him to just fly across and talk to Prime Minister Modi for a few hours, understand what's going on, talk about peace and diplomacy, and the directions of peace could be how the joint participation in this aspect, what's happening in Yemen. I'm sure South Asia will also figure in the discussions. All this is a real strong indication of the trust and the mutual admiration and respect for each other that we felt, that President of the UAE felt it necessary at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi to visit India, just to exchange views one-to-one on this, and to see how India and UAE can continue their work together, continue to be a force for peace and cooperation between South Asia and the Middle East and the Gulf region. I think it's a very, very significant factor, not only the visit itself, which is of course the 5th visit, but also the manner in which, even for 2 hours, this is what friends are there for, that you come even for a short time just to have the discussion and go back, and the one-to-one exchange of views is very significant for the future directions of how things are evolving in this region.
Has it come as a surprise, Ambassador Veena Sikri? And what we know of the CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, this is an agreement that both India and UAE have been committed to, and they're trading partners of nearly $100 billion in financial year 24-25. So looking at this magnitude of business that the two nations have conducted over the last year, what more in terms of strengthening ties are we looking at?
There's a lot more. What you said is absolutely right. The CEPA is working very well. Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and UAE, reaching of $100 billion of trade is truly significant between two economies like ours, and it shows that we want to build upon this further and further explore how whether trade, direct trade, and also investment aspects can be covered, so that the integration of our two economies, which, as you know, this is a civilizational interaction that India and the countries of the Gulf have had, and now in modern times, it's living up to the traditional civilization heritage. So this would certainly be part of it, how to grow. But beyond that, security issues, defense issues, cyber security, cooperation, technology, what areas of further the economic cooperation can take, all these will be covered. So it is, an example of how between neighbors who understand each other very well and feel the need to continue the consultation whenever certain urgent developments take place in either in their region or in ours, or of mutual interest. It is really a very, very significant illustration of how India's relationship with the Gulf countries have grown over the last 10 years, have grown into one of trust, not just, not just bilateral discussions which happen with many countries, but how even on special occasions you feel, yes, let me go across and talk to my friend Prime Minister Modi, and Prime Minister Modi invites him and he comes, is really significant. So in the next time, it may be our Prime Minister Modi would like to go there for a short discussion. But the way that they want to consult each other, that the way they want to do things together, the way they want to be on the same wavelength on these important issues, regional and bilateral and multilateral, would certainly show that they have this excellent rapport, which is most significant for India and for the UAE.
Thanks very much, Ambassador Veena Sikri. And as for us, we will continue staying on this story as and when information comes in. The bilateral meet is yet to happen in moments from now. We will continue tracking it.